if you imagine like a library and all the types of jobs that a librarian could do in there, that's a lot. But I'll summarize by saying that as a profession, librarians consider themselves information professionals.
Mm.
Um, early on in my like early on, I don't get this question anymore, but there were a couple times where someone asked me if libraries would be relevant, and I would tell them, yeah, certainly, because libraries don't just care about books; they care about information. They're not just a book repository. They are a place that helps people find what they need.
Mm.
And in the information age, and especially in a time when, you know, evaluating the bias of various sources for research, or like getting news or information about anything, librarians are there at the forefront of that, to kind of help to improve the creation, distribution, and management and organization of information. That's why it's called library and information science, or sometimes information science. So that's a general overview, and that's which there's obviously there's some very obvious correlations with, like, lore type information. I'll be a little more specific though and say that most of my library experience of I have a bit of two different things. A lot of my library experience has been front facing. So those like help desks that you might see at a
Mm-hmm.
library. Sometimes they're called circulation or research or research help desks. I've done a lot of work in those kinds of desks, helping people find what they need, checking books in and out, or checking other media like CDs, DVDs, sometimes even like video equipment or like electric equipment as well. And I mean, heck, I've worked in libraries that have board games and video games that you can check in and out and stuff. So yeah, so I've done a lot of that, but also more recently I've done kind of more kind of behind the scenes stuff. Some people call it technical services. Um, the like like that's where like acquisitions and cataloging are. So like when a library acquires new items, they're kind of brought into like the back, kind of out of like patrons or customers way, and kind of these back offices. And then people and catalogers and acquisitions people take care of like making sure that like basically noting down the metadata of the items. Like whether it's a book, what kind of book it is, the subject, information about the author or authors, that kind of stuff, and note that down on electronic records so that they can be searchable on the library website. So I help with that kind of thing, helping to make new library acquisitions searchable on library websites. How that applies to my lore knowledge, I think a lot of it has to do with, first of all, my appreciation for information and how information is organized and how information is presented as well. And I think also just kind of like the yeah, basically lore master is the perfect title I can think of for like taking librarianship and gaming together.
Mm.
um, because whenever you talk about like researching a game or something like that, like yeah, there's like the mechanics, like getting good at the game, but a lot of the times when people talk about like researching a game or looking into a game, there's a lot of talk about the lore, or like the as Matt Pat would say. So information organization and just kind of helping people to librarians also care about helping people appreciate the resources that are available as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because more often than not, a library offers services that people don't really realize are there until they come looking for it. And
Mm-hmm.
there's often a problem of trying to like sort of publicize those things to help like the people who need that information get that information.